in SharePoint Server 2016. We have 6 flavors. I love hot, fresh rolls right out of the oven. This is like making me hungry here. But these are min roles for SharePoint 2016. And when I speak min roles, there's one thing you need to worry about, and that is services. Because what a min role does is it optimizes and customizes the installation of SharePoint 2016 on that server. So I could have a multi-server farm. I could have 3 web front-end servers. I could have 2 search servers, one running distributed cache, one running my other service applications, will say managed metadata service, user profile service, secure store service. So as I'm installing SharePoint Server 2016, I identify the role I want it to play within my SharePoint farm. It goes out and it optimizes it by configuring the services that it needs for that specific role. Now, when it comes to optimization, if we use the custom role, this is probably the least optimized because it's going to allow you to configure anything or everything on that one server. And that's different because when I use search, search is going to be running just the search services. If I try to fake out SharePoint 2016 and install UPA on here, and I start the services, it's eventually going to have a timer job that's going to come along and do inventory, and it's going to say, whoa, 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 we have user profile services here running. We're not supposed to be running. This is a search server role. So it's going to stop those services. The customize gives you the most options to mishmash what you want to run on a single server, but it's also the least optimized. But I don't want you to panic. You're not stuck to working with that role throughout the life cycle. Because what you can do is you can run the SharePoint Products Configuration Wizard, and you can change from search to application if you want to. Or you can use psconfig from the command prompt. Or, of course, we have some PowerShell commands that we can use to change that role. So we have 3 different ways for identifying the role during deployment or changing that min role after we've deployed it.
Go back to one of my earlier comments about document management. You know, SharePoint was it is by far the best value for what I refer to as binary management, blob management. But the versioning, the history, all that stuff is well and good. But to be a really valuable document management solution, compliance really sits at the heart of content. And with that, we have a number of really great features that have evolved into the 2016 platform. For one is deletion policies. So you can really get very governed over who gets to delete things, control its retention from the system above and beyond records management, sort of down and dirty deletion. You know, it hits when it hits this recycle bin, that recycle bin, and the rules around it with meta values, et cetera, and so forth. The ability to enforce policies on templates and entire site collections. So again, much greater granular control to maintain compliance across the organization and to audit who has done what within expanded file name support. This is, again, around usability on content management. It is just natively intuitive for folks to use an ampersand. And having that break and having to train your users was something that was an exercise that was less than stellar, especially if you're used to using older legacy document management systems like OpenText or Documentum, where they had benefit of what is essentially an indexed file system where they could use pretty much any character they wanted. So now SharePoint also supports those characters. Large file support. We do have a lot of activity in the architecture, engineering, and construction space. One of the challenges in an industry like that is, in fact, file size. This has now been updated to 10 gigs as the file size, and it's only going to get larger. So, and you can actually configure the desired maximum file size limit per web app on your farm. System. Another one that we find very compelling, and this very much around the user experience, is durable links. So durable links are, you have a link to another document and another library, and you decide to, tweak your taxonomy, move that content, rename it so it's a friendlier name, more logical name. Well, in the past, those kind of activities of renaming and movement of content would have broken the link, which, with a million documents running in an enterprise system is a right nightmare. So now we have resource-based URLs, which create these durable links. So as you move content, rename it, these links are now unaffected. And so this user experience where they've gone out of their way to create linked content remains uniform, regardless of what you do. Further extending usability, the pretty and the important, if you will, is extended support for business intelligence. So SQL 2016, with extended abilities around Power Pivot, the scheduling of data refreshes, workbooks as data sources, all that siloed intellect in the form of those individual workbooks can now be used as data sources, so you don't have to throw away, a decade's worth of work that sits housed inside your Excel. Management dashboard for Power Pivot, Power View reports, to be able to subscribe to Power View, and report alerting, which is also particularly key. If you have key metrics in a report that are moving your enterprise forward, the ability to be alerted on those metrics is a huge, huge, huge value to businesses. Features. People have been talking about hybrid for a while. It was the big story out of Ignite last year was hybrid is it for the next year, 2, and 5. And with that, recognizing that hybrid is part of the journey to the cloud. You're not going to dismantle what you have on premise. Most of it, particularly our larger clients, are exploring how to do this. And there were some challenges, though, with hybrid that have been really very greatly addressed. For one,
big deal is the hybrid approach. That's the main reason we have a SharePoint Server 2016. If you recall, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, we weren't even sure there was going to be another SharePoint Server 2016. Microsoft was saying it's Office 365 SharePoint Online or it's nothing. Microsoft customers are saying, no, you give me an on-prem or it's nothing. So Microsoft listened. We now have a hybrid configuration option available right out of Central Admin, and it's going to allow you to manage the OneDrive for Business file and synchronization. It's going to allow you to integrate the app launcher. If you've seen this in Office 365, it's simply a way for us to navigate between our sites on-prem and within Office 365. So I'm not stuck to one or the other. So we can use this app launcher, which is extensible for allowing us to add additional topics or items within the app launcher. And lastly, search. This has always been a big deal. If you're running SharePoint Server 2016, or if you're running SharePoint Server 2013, Service Pack 1, cumulative update from January 2016. Let me say that one more time. SharePoint Server 2013, Service Pack 1, CU, January 2016, you'll be able to take full advantage of the new functionality offered by the hybrid search. And what this does that's different than what we've seen before is that we now have one index here that hangs out in Office 365. We have content coming in from Office 365 into that index. We have content from